Good morning, and this one is called The Life of a Pea. Just finishing doing some trauma release exercises, and I found myself during the exercise stroking this little pea shoot. So today we're going to go into the life of a pea and how extraordinary it is. So let's just focus on what I'm doing here. So right at the very tip of the pea shoot, and the focus may or may not choose to work. We've got little tendrils there. You might have to take my word for it. Little tiny tendrils which have the impulse to reach out and grasp hold of whatever they can manage to touch. And I guess that's the first thing I want to say about the pea plant, is it has this impulse, such a strong impulse, as has the impulse to grow, the impulse to reach out, the impulse to explore. And so I feel that these plants have been my friends ever since I put them in their little pots a few months ago. And as we go up, and up, and it's going to be time for me to move. There's the little tendrils, you can see them almost there. There we go. Yeah. And as we move up and up, and you can see I gave it little ties to support it up these bamboo canes. This bamboo is not really the appropriate support. It's much better to use little hazel twigs actually, and lots of them. But this is what I have, so this is I used. And at this point, the plant decided to stretch all the way over here, and it grasped hold of that bamboo cane, and then it came down here, and it reached all the way over, and it grabbed onto this bamboo cane, and it produced flowers, and then it produced these pea pods. So it started off as one little pea in the compost, and it's grown all the way out to this size, and it just keeps on. So I've shown you this particular plant, and now I'm going to come down a little bit because they're all planted at the same time. But can you see? Yes, this one seems to have died right off, and you can really see clearly those peas in that pot over there. Just look at that. Yeah. And yet this one seems to have died right off. And so, all in the same pot, I've got the end of life, what seems like death, until I reach this point here. Now look at this. This is what starts to become really fascinating, because this is clearly A dead plant, so I thought, with dead shoot, but then look at that. It's got new growth. It's got a new shoot coming out of it. And so this is a very allegorical experience, this, because although at first glance it appeared like this plant was dead because the leaves have browned off, it's got new shoots. And there's another one. And so what appeared to be dead is actually coming back to life. And right on the very end there, it just moved. It's got the very beginnings of a tiny white flower. So it's by no means over in the life of the pea world. And let's just go back over here, and we can see a real riot of growth, a profusion of it. And over here we can see another tiny little flower. Hasn't come out yet. That's a bit white. That's going to be another pea flower. And there are those little tendrils reaching out. And so we're going to go down here now. And here's another little pod. And this pod looks so fresh and green compared with some of those other pods we've seen which look so dry and dead. And that's a tomato that decided it would germinate out of the compost as well. But you can see what you mean. I mean, if I start the story over here, it just looks like, well, that's it, they're all done. And that they aren't. So we have life, we have death, we have flowering, we have setting seed in the pods. We have all sorts of things going on. In the middle of the death, we have the new shoots, the new life. And so I give these to you as an allegory. And the allegory is that nothing is as it seems. In the midst of life there is death, in the midst of death there is life. Where something seems to be shrivelling up, something brand new is being created and formed. And above and beyond everything, I get this sense of the beauty of the natural world, the beauty of nature. And let's remember, we, in our human arrogance, like to forget this, but we're part of nature too. So I thank you for coming with me on this little journey to the spirit of the pea. So determined to grow, and to explore and to reach out, and to be, and to do, and to produce more of its kind. Thank you for coming with me this morning on my journey to the life of the pea.